So first of all, I just want to say hello to everyone that's watching. It's another Skype interview, and today I'm extremely pleased to be able to welcome, because of course today is St Patrick's Day, to welcome one of the master brewers of Guinness, who's actually just turned up, I believe, in Sweden and is going to be celebrating St Patrick's Day right here in the country. Gearóid Cahill. Gearóid, thanks very, very much for joining us. Fantastic that you can be here with us.
Delighted to be here, Darren, and a happy St Patrick's Day to you and to all of your viewers as well.
Thanks very much. I tried to find something green to wear, to be honest with you, but I failed miserably, Gearóid. Failed miserably. Now listen, let's go right back to the beginning. I understand that is it your first time in Sweden?
Yes, it is my first time, and I'm delighted to be here for the St Patrick's Day Festival.
Fantastic. Now, I understand you're one of 3 master brewers at Guinness, is that right?
That's right, yeah. I've been with Guinness for 15 years now, and I've been a master brewer for about 8 years on that. So it's a long and tortuous journey, but it's well worth it.
And is that actually at the St James's Gate Brewery, or is you're responsible for you along with your fellow master brewers, as it were, you're responsible for the team at that particular brewery, or is it a global thing, or how does it work?
Yeah, for me, Darren, I'm in the Global Beer Technical Centre, which is based at St James's Gate.
Okay.
But we are responsible for all brewing activities worldwide. So I'm looking after brewing in St James's Gate of Guinness, but also in Africa, East and West, and also in the Caribbean. So anywhere we have our own breweries, I'm responsible for those, working out of the Technical Centre in Dublin.
Okay, so that's an awful lot of beer that you're responsible for then, by the sounds of it.
Yes, absolutely. And somebody has to look after it. But
yes,
we do.
Now, Guinness itself, I read here there's an awful lot of information about Guinness on the internet. I think it's one of probably the most sort of researched, written about beers on the planet, isn't it? And I've got a fact sheet here about Guinness that's sort of as thick as a telephone book. But there's a few sort of interesting facts that I picked out here. One of them says that Guinness has exactly the same ingredients. It's been brewed since the 18th century. Exactly the same ingredients as it used to have then, it has now. Is that true? Is Guinness effectively the same drink it is today as it was when it was first conceived by Arthur Guinness?
Yeah, the ingredients are the same because that's what gives it the characteristic look and the characteristic taste. If you look at different categories of Guinness, we have draft Guinness at 4.2% alcohol. We then have foreign extra stout in bottle at 7.5%. So we do tailor the alcohol levels for different markets, but the ingredients are the same, and that's what gives us this consistency throughout the ages.
Now, talking about that ingredient, the recipe itself, I just want to know, is it actually a secret recipe? And if it is, would you care to share it with all of us here in Sweden?
If you promise not to tell anybody, Darren.
I promise to keep it just between you and me, and just a few other close personal friends.
And any of your viewers
is it a secret recipe? The actual mix, the actual grain bill and everything, it's kept closely guarded secret?
Yeah, the principal ingredients are well known and publicised. We have lovely roast barley, which gives us the lovely colour, gives us the lovely flavour. We have stout malt, which is well known and would be comparable to ale malts in other beer types. The Arthur Guinness's yeast is unique to us, and nobody's getting their hands on that.
Okay. And I hear that you actually put a little proportion of that somewhere else, just in case there was any type of natural disaster. You could always go back to the DNA of the beer, as it were, and replicate that yeast.
Yeah, we have that stored in a safe off-site, so if anything happens at St James's Gate, we're covered. Okay. Believe it or not, we also store it in liquid nitrogen, so we can keep it for the next 250 years, seeing as we're 252 years in business now. Exactly. Parts of the process are secret, so I'm afraid, whilst I can tell you what the ingredients are, the process that gives us those unique flavours are secret and part of our brewing craft, so we'll have to blank out those.
We'll leave it at that. Now, obviously Guinness is kind of synonymous with today, with St Patrick's Day. Today is a day that everyone that sort of has a little bit of Irish in them wishes, becomes extremely patriotic. Those that have got absolutely no Irish in them at all wish they did have some Irish in them. And that's obviously happening a lot over here in Sweden. And of course, on St Patrick's Day, there is really only one drink that you sort of comes to the top of your mind, and that, of course, is a pint of Guinness. So, why do you think that St Patrick's Day and Guinness has become such a global phenomenon? What is it about St Patrick's Day?
St Patrick's Day is a day for everybody to celebrate being Irish and everybody else to wish they were Irish. You marry that then with Guinness. Guinness is an icon within Ireland, but it's also a global icon of being Irish. And that goes right back to Arthur Guinness. Arthur Guinness started his trade at about 33 years of age, brewing in his newly founded Guinness Brewery. And he started from very humble beginnings. And within 20 years, he'd one of the biggest breweries in the world. So he's an Irish success story. What we really like about the guy is he was a stickler for quality, which comes through right to today. Yeah. But he also looked after the people that helped him be successful. So he gave people a health service when there wasn't one in Ireland. He gave them homes at low rents, and he did all these wonderful things. So we celebrate him as an iconic Irishman, and therefore that helped to build up the brand and its reputation. He was an unbelievable man, and he's left a great legacy. We're only temporary custodians of it. We need to keep it going for him.
Exactly. He's a remarkable man. As you say, his legacy continues to this day.
Yes.
In Sweden, actually, I've been very lucky enough to try a lot of the Guinnesses, a lot of the different styles of Guinnesses. We have 5 types here. We do not have, we have Guinness Draught in can. We have Guinness Draught in bottle. We have Guinness Draught Surger, which is relatively new, and we have the Guinness Extra Stout. Now, if you could, do you have a favourite Guinness type? And if you do, which one is it?
That's a good question. I think it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm out with a few of my friends in our local pub, I'll have a few pints of draft Guinness, and I really enjoy those. Sometimes with a meal, I really enjoy a bottle of Foreign Extra Stout, which is 7.5%. Yeah. Definitely not something to have pints of. No. I think with that, it's almost into the red wine category. With some food, that is an excellent beverage. So really it depends on the humour. But for me, they're all within the Guinness family, within the Guinness stable. So for me, I like to mix and match. But draft Guinness would be my favourite by far.
Okay.
That's what I'll be having tomorrow as we celebrate today as we celebrate St Patrick's Day.
Yeah, exactly. I must say, my personal favourite, I do think that the Foreign Extra Stout is absolutely amazing beer. Absolutely amazing stuff.
Thank you.
And as you say, fantastic with food. Really does fit beautifully. Now, I also see, I've been scouring the internet, and I also see that it takes apparently 119.5. This is very important, that 0.5, I'm sure. And I wonder who at Guinness actually found that out or timed it. To pour the perfect pint of Guinness. Question is, why does it take that long, and is it really worth waiting that long for it?
Yes, it is a struggle dealing with all that anticipation, that's for sure. We're very committed to quality, so I can guarantee you a lot of man hours and lab hours went into defining what is the perfect timing for a pint of Guinness. It is worth waiting for, but for draft Guinness, you cannot rush it. You cannot pour it in one go like you would a lager beer. Right. You must pour it in 2 parts, and you must wait because it has to look great and it has to taste great. So what
does that wait do then in terms of the dynamics of the beer? What's happening? What's worth the wait?
Yeah, the 2-part pour is unique to Guinness. The first part of the pour is you pour your Guinness, pulling forward the beer tap in the forward direction. It brings the beer to life. It activates the gas to come out and start to give you this lovely creamy head. You fill the glass to about 3/4 full, and then you stop. Let the beer settle so you get a lovely creamy head forming on top, and let the beer go black underneath. The second part of the pour then, once that has settled, is you push the tap forward and you have a calm fill to fill the remainder of the pint. Okay. And that brings up your beer glass to full, but it finishes off the head nicely, and then allow that beer to settle. That's where your 119.5 seconds comes from. You must wait until it's black liquid with a white head. Okay. Then it's prime for drinking.
Then it's good to go.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as I say, there was a lot of facts that you can find out there on the internet about Guinness. I just wonder, is there one thing about Guinness that you can tell us that we probably don't know?
That's an interesting question, and I'm glad you asked me this.
Just sprung that one on you.
One thing about Guinness that you don't know. Guinness is not black.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Okay. So Guinness isn't black. What colour is it?
Guinness is, whilst it appears to be black in the distance, it's actually a very, very dark ruby colour.
Okay.
It comes from roasted barley, so it's a very deep, almost ale colour. So it does appear to all intents and purposes black, but it's actually a deep ruby colour from the natural colour generated through roasting barley. Did you know that?
I had heard it, somewhere on the internet. I had heard that one.
I can confirm that's the case.
But listen, the actual today is St. Patrick's Day, so obviously you're going to be, I'm sure, saying the following phrase quite a lot. Now, I've been practicing this, and I can tell you, I've been living in Sweden 10 years, and my Swedish is awful, so my Irish is probably going to be even worse. But anyway, is it Pionta Guinness Led Thoil?
Pionta Guinness Led the Hull.
Oh, Thoil. Okay.
Led the Hull.
Yeah, which actually means that, you want a pint of Guinness. I expect you're going to be saying that quite a lot over the next few hours, and I expect a lot of other people in Sweden are too. I do know that I think it's the sales of Guinness over the next sort of few days is going to escalate by about 25% compared to any other time of the year. So there's an awful lot of Guinness that's going to be drunk in the next few hours. I do hope you have a great time over here in Sweden on your first St. Patrick's Day here. I hope it's not your last. Thanks very much for taking the time to join us here today, and have a great St. Patrick's Day.
You're very welcome, and have a very happy St. Patrick's Day. And greetings to all your viewers.
Cheers and beers. Cheers.
Thank you.